Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the Buzz with KDB. Today, Kyler and I are joined by Rob, and if you guys don't know Rob the Slapper, literally everywhere. He plays bass for Carson Jeffrey. So, Rob, what's up? How you doing?
Oh, we're doing all right today. Just a nice, quiet Thursday around these parts, outside of the rain, of course. But
Yeah, right.
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, it is. College Station is pretty quiet this time of year with no college students going through, and so it's got to be pretty nice in that neck of the woods to have a less of your population in town. So
yeah, no, I mean, when 80,000, you have 80,000 students on campus and approximately 65,000 of them aren't here, it makes the roads
Yeah.
a lot easier to travel on. I actually went to lunch at the Dixie Chicken today, and I pulled in right before a group of about 50 corporate folks, I guess, that were here for some kind of conference. I walked in and ordered my burger, and I was like, "Oh, I'm out of here."
in College Station's always been that town. Like when you try to go to like Staples, you have to go out of their season, man,
Yeah.
to get in anywhere. Like barbecue joints down there, Dixie Chicken. If you want to go to Aggieland Outfitters, just go during the summer, man. You have so much better of a time to do all that type of stuff in Aggieland. But we're wanting to talk to you more than just Aggieland. We want to broaden this real quick. And I met Rob after, I mean, before a show. I knew who Rob was, and he came and sat down after we had interviewed Carson, which that podcast is already out. Y'all go listen to
Yeah.
that. And I was just sitting there talking to Rob, and I didn't want to tell him what we do, and like I think he knew who we were, but I was just wanting to pick his brain. He's always been a very vocal person on social media about what he cares about, and I really like to pick people's brains and let them nerd out. It's a really beautiful thing to see, and we talked about weather, and so we talked about that. We talked about old Texas country, and but yeah, I want to get into more about you. I want to learn about your intro to the music scene and how'd you get into that, and yeah.
So, I'm originally from New Mexico. So Texas music scene was not really even on my radar. Even kind of getting into high school, you're talking 2009, 2010 was my senior year. So as far as like all the old school stuff with ragweed and all that fun stuff, guys like Charlie Robison. I mean, I didn't know any of those guys. Like the only Texas country band I was like relatively aware of outside of maybe Pat Green was Eli Young Band because one of their songs, which was So Close Now on their album Level, was our graduation song. So
Oh,
I went, yeah, so I went and did a little deep dive on Eli Young Band, and oh yeah, they're a Texas-based band. They play all over Texas, and I was like, huh, interesting. They're like, there's a whole new music scene down there. It's like, oh, well, it's not new, but it's been there. So
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so I started attending A&M in the fall of 2010 and then graduated in 14. But over the course of those 4 years, spent many days out over at Hurricane Harry's, over at the Hall of Fame while it was still here. A few nights at the Tap as well, just getting acquainted to what this Texas country music scene was. Getting the opportunity to watch guys like Turnpike Troubadours and Whiskey Myers and
Mhm.
guys like that who hadn't really launched yet.
Yeah.
But they were kind of on the rise and just beginning to headline places like Harry's and
Sorry.
We
yeah.
gotta.
Oh, it's all low.
Come on, dude.
He's a shithead, but continue. Sorry.
No, you're good. No. It was yeah, so we ended up getting to see those bands early on, which was really cool. And that really did kind of foster in me the idea of, oh, wow, okay, this Texas country music, it rocks pretty good, but it's got good writing in it and it was fun to listen to. So spent a good portion of time always appreciating the genre, but not really, diving head first as a musician. While I was at A&M, I was in the singing cadets, which is separate from the corps. And basically, what we did was go around and perform, not just here in Texas, but all over the country and out of country. Performed for multiple sitting presidents previous, as well as getting the chance to go to perform in China and places like that. So I've always been in and around music thanks to my parents. Granted, dad's a cassette era, classic rock guy, 70s, 80s rock. That was his stuff. And so that was the stuff that was kind of brought on to me. Bands like Boston, bands like, Van Halen, bands like, we can insert any of those guys. They're all great. but took a love for that style of music as well as appreciation for what was going on here. And spent the next several years kind of bouncing, playing, doing some jobs. Was working in real estate, doing a little substitute teaching, maybe a little bit of retail work. It's funny you mentioned Outfitters because I worked there for a little bit. And I got around to about 2017, and a buddy of mine by the name of Garrett Smith, and I'll go ahead and shout him out because Garrett, he's an artist that performs, but he was the catalyst to getting me in to actually like performing because he's like, hey, you come play a song swap with me. Just break out a guitar, just play some, just do some covers, whatever. I don't care. Like, all right, cool. So I, brought my acoustic and came and played. And he gets a call in August of 17 about taking over a gig as a bass player for this guy named Landon Evans. Well, local cat here, and basically Garrett said, I have no desire to play bass in somebody else's band. I'm trying to do my thing.
Hmm.
But Rob over here, he might be given, worth giving a shot. So I joined this band. I played with them for about 6 months, and that was kind of my baptism of getting my feet wet. Doing 3 to 4 hour gigs, get paid $100 a show. Playing vast majority covers, but it was a way to get me in to try to learn about how the scene works. Well, about 6 months go by, and I get a phone call from Jordan Nix. And at the time, it was Jordan Nix and the Day Drinkers. I jump in with those boys, along with two other members from that band. You had Robert Herrera, who's an outstanding guitar player, and Miles Novak, who's a keys player. Three of us end up going over to Jordan. And with Jordan, I have a lot of wonderful experiences. We got to perform on the Texas Country Music Cruise. That was my first time in the studio. We went up to Fort Worth Sound and recorded his debut record, which was called Happier Than Normal. And that was a ton of fun to be a part of. We did 9 songs recorded in 3 days, but just kind of got after it. And then, we enjoyed that. But 3 years in and amongst all of that, you had a baby, and there was a hiatus in the band. So I get a phone call from my buddy AJ Hoffman, fiddle player, who got me in with Jake Worthington, and I started playing with him for about 6 months. There in kind of late 2019. No, that was the first real indication to me like I had a lot of extra work to do
Yeah.
as a musician, and above all else, just how I present myself and how I do my job. And I will give Jake all the credit in the world. He taught a lot of really important lessons to me about how to conduct yourself at a venue, how to be a good member of the band, that kind of stuff. Well, after all that, we compete in a battle of the bands late 2019 with Jordan Nix to play at Chili Fest. We win this battle of the bands at the Tap, and it was a wonderful night. Videos are still up on YouTube.
I'll have to go
Yeah,
back and-
it's like, I'll get a little nostalgic and go back and watch that because it was a fun performance. It was truly one of those like that was a fun night kind of
Yeah.
deals. And we get around to 2020 and COVID hits, right? And all the festivals get canceled. Chili Fest is done. We don't play a full band show for 6 months,
Yeah.
and that is brutal as a bass player, right? So, time had gone on there for a little bit where there's not a whole lot of gigs where I was getting in, and I get a call from Carson Jeffrey, who at that point was getting ready to look for a bass player. So, around about November of 2020, I started gearing up for the gig. Eventually, I got it in April of 21, and that's where I've been ever since. Just been rocking and rolling with Carson. It's been 4 years. And I'll say, working with Carson has been one of the biggest and greatest blessings of my life because I've had the opportunity to play a lot of incredible places in front of a lot of wonderful people. Had the opportunity to play Billy Bob's twice, sell out Green Hall multiple times. I finally got to headline over at Hurricane Harry's, sold out the Tap several times, Twisted J in Stephenville. And, we've been all over the place from Oklahoma to Kansas, Missouri, as far east as points in Indiana, Iowa, Mississippi. Just this past month, we went to Montana and Wyoming.
Yeah.
And this next month, we're heading up, playing some opening shows with Randall King. We're going to be playing in Utah and Boise, Idaho, and then wrapping up in Spokane, Washington. So, I mean, the opportunities have been amazing. And I've been a part of a lot of recording with him. Buzzbrain Part 2, Fairweather Cowboy, all the new recordings that are coming out very shortly. Uh,
Yeah.
those are all things that I've been involved with and been a part of the creative process a bit in the war room, working out parts. So yeah, it's been a blessing to be a part of this organization, and I could not be happier with the direction I feel like we're moving because it feels like we got a lot of good stuff on the horizon.
For sure.
So you went to school, I remember you telling me, and you did meteorology in
Mm.
school. And if you could go back to your 18 to 20-year-old self in those college classrooms and saying, hey, fuck all this. You're gonna be playing bass all over the country. Would you have believed yourself and that's where you'd be right now?
Honestly, back then, probably not. I mean, music, I love concerts,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I was one of those kids that had an opportunity. I got to see so many great people coming up. I mean, I saw the Rolling Stones,
Yeah.
I got to see Van Halen. I got to see, all these heavy rock bands. I saw Metallica twice, at this point, and I've been to a bunch of great festivals. And I'm very much a rock guy.
Yeah.
I love Texas country music and I will listen to it. And I love old school country music too, like 70s, 80s, 90s country, all of that. I'm a student of multiple realms, but the realm that got me to where I was as far as appreciating performance was rock. In
Yeah.
Mhm.
particular, Linkin Park was my big one. Them and Metallica and guys like Brady Benjamin, Disturbed. I mean, I could go down the list. Pick a butt rock band. Those are my bands.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
but yeah, man, if I could have chatted with myself back then and just said, man, just don't waste the extra money. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It would have been. I think it would be very interesting to see had I jumped into the scene right as soon as I did, maybe right after college or sometime while I was in it because I was a little late to the game. I graduated in 2014. I didn't start playing outside of church gigs until 2017.
Mhm.
I had 3 years where I was not really involved.
It'd be interesting to see if you would have stuck with that route, where you'd be now with
With weather,
yeah, with
yeah. I
weather.
mean, Rob's pretty active on Twitter with like when hurricanes are popping off. I just check Rob and see if Rob's talking about it because Rob will be like, "Hey, y'all are about to get hit," and I'm like, if Rob's saying that, like, those people need to move. Like, I don't know much, but I know Rob's on his shit about that, and it's just fun to see him get his passed out, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, now weather was always a big passion of mine from a very young age. I mean, I saw Twister in '96 when it was in theaters. I was 5.
Yeah,
I was a kid. I'm sitting there like, whoa, watching the big.
I saw a video today about Twister and the cover tornado that's on the cover. Do you know where that tornado was?
Miami, Texas, I believe.
Correct. Yes, it was up in the Panhandle north of Pampa, and
hmm
only a couple documentations of it. It's really crazy. That's the tornado. That's the most popular seen tornado on a movie.
Quick sidebar: was it Swagel Studios that posted about that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I saw it and I was like, I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, and yeah, I was like, holy shit! Like, there nobody saw this until they just took a picture and it ran with it on the movie, and I was like, damn, that's wild.
yeah. I'd seen a documentary about Warren Fagley, the guy who took the picture.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And he is a phenomenal early on photographer. He was one of the guys back in the 70s and I mean really kind of the late 80s that was part of that initial movement of what you started seeing with the modern day storm chasers.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
storm chasing these days has just gotten absolutely asinine.
Dude, it's gotten so commercialized. Like
Crazy.
it like if you could put sports betting onto storm chasing, I think you really could. Like who's gonna get the best angle of this thing and you gotta put your money where your mouth is.
Is this particular storm going to produce?
Dude,
Is it going to be the next cell
man, I
past
feel like that
that?
could be totally something that people could gamble on. And people fucking would.
That's not a bad idea.
Rob, I think we hit here. But bring it back to music real quick. You're saying rock is such a big background for you, and if anybody's ever seen you live, the way you move on stage is unlike anybody else. Do you have a lot of influence of how you carry yourself on stage from the rock-esque part of you?
So I think, a lot of it honestly came, early on, not so much, right? I mean, if you saw me perform back in 2017, I was kind of a rock back there. I was your A.
You were in a shell.
I love bass players. I was a typical bass player.
Yeah,
I was
yeah, yeah,
back
yeah.
there doing my thing, playing, got to sing, got to come up to the front and sing on a song one time, that kind of thing. But yeah, most of the time, like basically what really influenced a lot of that was getting in with Jordan Nix. So
Mhm.
whenever we started off with Jordan, this was right when he was starting to get a lot more of kind of fun songs in the
Yeah.
lineup, including one of my personal favorites to this day, which is the song 7,000 Miles.
Uh-huh.
And
Mhm.
during 7,000 Miles, we just went off on stage. I mean, I've got old videos where, Jordan's here doing like spinning in a circle. He's got a cable wrapping around his foot. He's just jamming. Our keys player, Miles, at that point, he's standing up, just,
Yeah.
rocking and rolling. It permeated. And
Yeah.
it was, I think that there's a lot to be gleaned at a live show with your presentation because at the end of the day with musicians what's our job, we're
Mm.
providing a service to people.
Mhm.
People are spending their hard-earned money. Maybe they're paying 15, $20 to come see Carson Jeffrey at a concert, and I want them to walk out like they got their money's worth when
Yeah.
they come out to a show. So I'm going to go out there, put on a good show, enjoy the jams, because at the end of the day when you're a musician, it's all about the music.
Yeah.
At least it
Oh,
should be.
yeah.
So I feel like a lot of and I will say, watching a lot of rock bands growing up, that was a big part of it.
Because they be moving like still
Yeah.
at 70 years old with some of these guys. They still are running up and down the
They
stage,
know how to
like
move on
working because they've
stage.
been doing it for the past 40, 50 years.
Hmm.
They do, I mean, compared to kids that are a quarter of their age in the country scene, some of them will just stand there and play
And
their
play the
songs, and it's
yeah.
very dead, right? And so I think enjoying seeing you perform and like you played in Houston, you opened up with Austin Upchurch was his bass player at playing for Carson after. And even Austin and you playing together is like y'all's vibe like meshed so well because Austin's not just the guy like he will get up and move around and then you just on the side just doing Rob shit and it was just really good to see. It really brought the vibe in
Getting
the
a
room.
shirt that says that.
Just doing Rob
Shit.
shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I love Austin Upchurch to death. And if he hears this, Austin, I love you, buddy. He's good people. I've always been a big fan of his work. Kind of like alt indie rock vibe has
Yeah.
always kind of been his deal. Like he's really not like we use this blanket term Texas country.
Yeah.
Right. Which I think just applies to anybody who's on this scene in Texas. But the beauty of this scene is there's so many different flavor profiles. Wherever you look, like you get different camps
Yes.
and different like, where did this sound kind of come from? So, let's take a Treaty Oak Revival, for example, right? So Treaty probably doesn't happen without Co, right? And then Co doesn't happen without Ragweed and Whiskey Myers and guys like that. And ragweed doesn't happen without Mike McClure. And then it
Yeah.
just goes and goes and goes, right?
Yep.
Like the beauty is there's lineage to this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's
And
more than just lineage of inspiration. I think it's lineage of who people know because there's a
yeah,
lot of people in the Texas music scene I found out by word of mouth rather than
Yes.
inspire and like saying, "Hey, this is my inspiration." There's so many people that like I didn't know 3 years ago that I've seen 30 times in those last 3 years just based off
yeah,
word of mouth.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really special about this scene specifically is there's multiple people I go to a show, I recognize in the crowd. It's been 3 months since I last saw them. They're gonna tell me new people, and I'm gonna tell them new people. It's
Well,
just one of those crazy
yeah.
things.
The thing with that is too, I lost my train of thought actually.
But yeah, I think there's no other place that I mean I've been in other music scenes, but Texas is particularly special in that respect.
it is.
I remembered I was gonna say. So it's more like even the people that we've interviewed and talked to, they want to talk about their friends who are doing music. Like
Yeah.
they put, oh, listen to this guy, listen to this guy. It's like they're proud of their friends and telling
Oh
them all.
yeah.
It's rather than it's not this like they're looking for competition. It's because everyone's different. Like their best friend could have music that doesn't sound anything like the music they're putting out.
For sure.
Well, yeah, we take a guy like, Austin Upchurch, right? Like I said, is his vibe our vibe? No, but we love him anyway.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of bands like that over the years that have opened for us. We've been good buddies with Logan Ryan and his crew, and it's been good to see their growth. seeing guys like Randy Hoyt, who just put out his first record.
Love
Love
that
that
one.
kid. Not a lot of people know who he is, but he's a
Mhm.
bluesy country blend, and I love what he does.
He's Michael Bublé in this scene.
Yeah, and
Dude,
he's
killer.
cool.
He is.
Parker Ryan, you know? Parker Parker Ryan, he rocks and rolls, right? I mean, I could go down. Let's and even Jordan Nix. I know, we split, but I still love the guy, and I still appreciate what he's bringing to the music scene. I'd be hard pressed to say there's a better writer out there right now. He's
Yeah,
an incredibly good writer, and I think it's good to know all these people and appreciate the strengths of what everybody's doing and trying to boost it up because I think William Clark Green put it best. He was on a podcast not long ago with Jared Morris, another buddy of ours,
yeah.
and he was talking about how seeing the guys like Parker, McCollum, and Co Wetzel shoot up past him on lineups, and he's like, you can get a little frustrated with it, but at the end of the day, rising tides bring in all the boats because
Yeah.
everybody's getting more exposure when guys like, let's say a Ty Myers fires off, a
Yeah.
Hudson Westbrook fires off. Any of those guys, whenever they're launching, it does try to elevate the scene a bit. It's just you got to
Mhm.
get the kids that appreciate that to branch out from the one thing that they love.
And I think that's real
Yeah.
difficult for the younger ages because they're so honed in on what people look like. Those two people you just mentioned just now, no, they're incredible and 100% in their own rights. But I think some of their crowd is there for the wrong reasons and not only music
Well,
for both of
yeah.
those. But I really do appreciate Hudson writing us, or not writing, but recording a Stelly song and bringing Stelly on tour with him.
Yeah.
Is an incredible songwriter for me. I love him absolutely to death. And
Yeah.
when he covered Johnny Walker and then to go bring him out on tour as well, exceptional showmanship.
Yeah,
I think
like
that was really all, like you said, all boats rise with high tide.
yeah, like Stelly's got to play some of like one of his biggest shows
Yeah,
because he got to open for
his
Hudson like that.
yeah
And
arena tour.
yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. And, for us, it's one of those deals where it's not there yet.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that there's not something along those lines in the future, but
100%.
I think the thing that if I had to speak for Carson, I'd say this. I really appreciate that we are very true to ourselves. I think
Yeah,
is the most important thing. I mean, you're not gonna get anything out of us that we aren't. When you come to a Carson Jeffrey show, it's going to be what it's going to be. Same deal when you go to a Will Clark Green show, same when you go to a Ryan Bingham show. You get what you came there for.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's not going to be a whole lot of frills. There's not going to be a.
On the flip side of that coin, as somebody in that band, how hard is it to sell yourself like that?
It's difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's absolutely difficult because when you're an independent artist, right? Like
yeah,
we're not part of any management groups. But we have booking, which is awesome.
yeah,
But
Mm-hmm.
nobody's managing us. It's us.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the relationships that we've built at this point, the people we've worked with, I mean, they're perfectly great people, and I love all of the bands that we've had the opportunity to work with. The fact that Randall King is kind of
Yeah.
going out of his way this year to give us some good opportunities, we appreciate that. Will Clark Green shouted us out big time the day after Green whenever we played up in Arlington. He said, "Yeah, y'all give it up for Carson Jeffrey and his boys one more time. That was amazing." He
Yes.
shouted us out 3 times in like the first
Yeah.
half of that set. That's
And,
we love that
and how
stuff.
does that feel like for you? Like I know I went and saw Parker open up for Pat Green, and Pat Green's a Texas legend, and
Sure.
he's definitely, I feel, lost in his ways currently, but let him do him. He's fine. But I saw Parker open up for Pat, and Pat was totally astonished that a three-piece was making this sound.
Yeah.
And it's really
Yeah.
got to be. I talked to Parker. I was like, "You listened to Pat Green growing up. You're in
Mm-hmm.
Texas as a kid. How is that to have somebody that's putting wind in your sails as something you but looked up to?" And I just had that question for you. Like, how has it been for all these people y'all have opened up for, and then just being like y'all are doing the good fight as the independent guy and not the guy signed with a like record label?
It's always nice, when you get a guy like William Clark Green coming out and shouting you out that way, and then coming afterwards and shaking your hand and telling you
Yeah,
you did a great
Yeah.
job. That is, I mean, that's the greatest compliment I could ask for because William Clark Green is one of my all-time favorites. But guys like him, guys like Kevin Fowler, we played with him quite a bit, and he has been nothing but kind to us. John Wolfe, kind of in the same vein. We've opened a lot of shows for John, and he's been nothing but complimentary.
Yeah.
So, it's good to have those established relationships, especially with people who they do know people,
Yeah.
Yes,
and
definitely.
and they can spread the good word, obviously, and maybe one of these days, you get called up for one of these shows. And the beauty of booking, right, is within our booking agency, the people that we're with, there are some really big names on that lineup. And it's, only a matter of time, hopefully, where you get booked on with some of those shows with those people
Yeah.
is the idea, right? I mean, like for example, Treaty Oak Revival. I
Mhm.
mean, they're under the same booking we are. And if we happen to be one of three bands at an arena one day, oh God, twist my arm, I get to open for Treaty, you know?
I've been to one of those shows where Parker opened up for Treaty in College Station at that Wolf Amphitheater y'all got out there.
Yeah,
And dude, it's crazy cool to see all these people that have never heard the people that are opening for them's music before, and
yeah.
then just be there for Treaty, and then
Hmm.
come talk to you. I was working the merch table for them, and come and work in the merch table, and people coming by after and was like, "Holy shit, what was that?"
Mm,
And
Like,
it's a
who's that
really
guy?
crazy, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a crazy good feeling for, I mean, especially for y'all. Y'all are the ones that are actually doing it. So
right.
I couldn't imagine having that opportunity multiple times a year.
Yeah, and like, whenever we played Muscadine Bloodline a while back, I mean, we opened for those guys, and immediately after the show was over, I mean, we had a line at merch, and people were
Mhm.
like, "Holy cow, you guys were awesome!" I had no clue who you were. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
yeah,
You know?
That's the
Yeah,
joy of live music too. When there's openers you don't know and you
yeah,
show up early and you listen to them and you found your new favorite band. I
yep. I think
think
it's really cool too.
it's like we've bought so many different merch. We've interviewed even openers the day after or
Yeah,
something just because
sure.
we discovered them the night before.
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
No, and I think that's really important because there are a ton of people on this music
Exactly.
scene. There's just so many of us.
Yeah,
And so, and it does feel like you're constantly like kind of moving for position and trying to move around and trying not to become irrelevant, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. But I think we're in a pretty decent position where we're at as a band right now, just because we've got a good solid base and we've had a lot of people who do continually show up to shows whether they're being properly marketed or not,
Mhm.
on either end, right? We're still getting good crowds of people. When we opened for Braxton earlier this year at the Galveston County Fair, I mean,
yeah.
we had
Yeah.
so many people coming over to our merch and hanging out
Dude,
and chatting.
we're I kid you not, a 5 minute walk from that same pavilion y'all played that night,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it is one of those special venues. I don't remember. I can't remember if I told you about this Armadillo Palace, but that same pavilion back 13 years now, Whiskey Myers and Turnpike shared that stage on one night, and I
Wow.
was 12 years old, standing in the crowd, not knowing what the hell was going on stage,
Yeah.
Right.
but it's still crazy to think like that's the same stage that you in
Yeah.
12, 13 years could
Yeah.
be. There's the sky's the limit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In this game, and it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we get to headline Lukenbach for the first time
Yeah,
this year.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people have done that?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not a
The
lot.
at the inside the dance hall, not a lot of people have done that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We sold it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's great.
And how was
We
Billy Bob's? Your first time playing at Billy Bob's?
so our very first time we played Billy Bob's, that was back in 23.
Yeah.
So we put about 1,500 people in the building. Oh, excuse me, we put 1,600 in the building the first time we played it, which I'll take that for our
Yeah.
first,
For
for our
sure.
debut headline. And it was Cinco de Mayo. It was a Friday. It was fun. Well, and the next time we went, Paul Coffin had to drop the date because he was unwell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we had to take advantage of the situation. You were the second on the date. Y'all won it. We only had a month to promote it. We still put 1,500 people in the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah.
That's awesome to
Yeah.
me. You
Mhm.
know.
For sure. 100%.
Any goals venues this year you want to get to next year even?
Next year, man, I would love to get out to Red Rocks. I want to do
Dude,
that. I want to go. I want to end up at Whitewater Amphitheater at some point.
Yeah.
And I said
I could
where we're
definitely see that this year. Are you hinting at anything?
No, 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 no. Not
Okay.
right now. Now this year kind of coming up. I mean, we've got a bunch of we've got a little bit of like Pacific Northwest, as I mentioned.
Mhm.
Lots of rodeos. Kind of leaning in on the crowd for that.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, we're doing a lot of good headlines coming up in the fall. Lots of festivals out in West Texas, weirdly enough. We have a ton out kind of scattered in West Texas. But yeah, I'm hoping with this new album release when
Hmm.
that happens, hopefully we have a few singles that do well enough to, get on those playlists that everybody needs them to be on, gets in
Yep.
front of the
Yeah.
right ears, gets in front of the right people, and eventually, get to be able to market off of that record. Go open for a name because
Yeah.
hey, there's a couple songs on this record that decided to do pretty well.
Yeah.
That's the hope and the prayer.
I heard some
Yeah.
songs that night when we interviewed
Yeah.
Carson. I'm curious if you can just tell me the name. Which one's your favorite off that album? That I know who off got him cut, right?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah,
your
the
favorite
album's
off that
ready to
album?
go. Yeah, so the album's ready to go. It's going to be called Comancheria,
Uh-huh.
which basically is telling the story of Comancheria, which was a region that existed from the kind of mid 1700s through about 1870. The Comanches pretty much owned the plains. Um, uh, Texas Panhandle up through Oklahoma into southern Colorado, Kansas, eastern New Mexico, as far south and east as the edge of Austin. Like this was a whole region where the Comanches largely dominated, and us American settlers and Texas settlers didn't have really any kind of way to fight them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're firing off 20 some odd arrows a minute, and we're lucky to fire off one shot or maybe three shots a minute off of our rifles at the time. Like it wasn't a fair fight. And so the song tells the story of a Comanche raid and a handful of people that decide they're going to go out and try to uh, go steal these women back from the Comanche, and it doesn't work out. It's one of
That's
those deals, right? Lots of storytelling on this record. So big fan of that song. Big fan of Hard Times.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think y'all played that one before
yeah.
in y'all sound check.
I think we sound checked it. That's supposed to be the first song on the record, and it's a
Cool.
jam.
It
So,
is.
so we're excited for that one. The Burnout, which not to be confused with Burnout by Stelly and Slay Coulter. The Burnout. It's very much it's a musician song.
Yeah.
It's about us being burnt out on the road and being tired and just trying to get to that next get to the next stop, get to the next step, get to the next level. Just keep hoping.
Yeah.
We're gone for weeks at a time, and we're just trying to fight for our lives here. So that's another great song on the record. I'm looking forward to. And honestly, there's a song called "Hold Us Back," which is very much a feel song that I'm looking forward to. So there's a lot of good music on this next record, and the beauty of it is it's all us. This is
Cool.
there's no Nashville artist involved here. It's every member of the band at the time was involved on this record, along with David Beck adding some piano, our producer. And that's David Beck's Tejano Weekend. If you haven't heard them, go check them out. They're badass. But David Beck, he recorded some keys for us. We got Cody Braun of Reckless Kelly fame. He came in and recorded the fiddle for us on Comancheria. So
Cool.
yeah, it's been some good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you got, Katie?
No, I just think definitely if y'all have never listened to Carson or checked out Rob, go do that.
Rob the
Yeah.
Weatherman.
The
I
Weatherman.
got another one. Is Weatherman by Hank one of your like go-tos? It's got to be, right?
So the Weatherman's actually a funny story. It all was Carson's fault. So Carson comes from the Cody Canada school
Yeah.
of like
Hmm.
giving nicknames to band members. Like that was something that he did back in the Ragweed days. Carson kind of adopted that. He's always been a big fan of Ragweed. But yeah, every member of the band has a nickname, and we were playing a show in Pottsboro, Texas, very early on in my career. We just got done playing a show, did an encore. We're starting to load out, we're taking our sweet time doing it, and all of a sudden, I felt a little bit of a change in the wind, and I was checking my radar,
How
and I
to
saw this
draft.
big honking line coming in, and I ran back inside. I was like, "Boys, we need to finish loading out now." And Carson's like, and right now, right now. I'm like, okay, cool. So we started throwing everything into the trailer, shut the door, and all of a sudden the sky opened up on us right as soon as we were done. And Carson leans back from the driver's seat and goes, Bob, are you some kind of weatherman? And then I explained my origin with studying meteorology. And then like within the next couple of shows, he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, from Carlsbad, New Mexico, y'all give it up for Rob, the Weatherman White." And I was like,
You're
"Hey,
like, okay.
I wish
yeah,
you'd be called like Heisenberg or something with your last name. That could have been very. I see you working on it.
god damn right."
That's funny because you are from New Mexico, and that would have been, dude.
Mr. White, and my last
Dude,
name's White.
yeah, I know. I think you should really. Do y'all have a Halloween show this year?
Hold on, hold on.
Dude.
So I may or may not have substitute taught in 2016
Uh-huh.
a chemistry class at
Mm-hmm.
Navasota High School,
Mm-hmm.
and I may or may not have gone a little overboard with the outfit because, well, if you're going to do something, you might as well go all in on it.
Mhm.
And you are in Texas in Navasota, so no fucking way. That's fucking crazy. You shaved your whole head for that, or
I
is that
shaved my whole head for it.
I thought it was a fucking skin cap.
No.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
And these you
Yeah.
said sixth grade?
So it was high schoolers. It was a
Okay,
chemistry class,
gotcha.
but they obviously appreciated it because I
That's
came
fucking
walking
cool.
in like that, and one of my students immediately was like, "Hell yeah, Mr. White!" And I was like, "Oh God, why did I do this?"
You know why you did it. You know why you did it. Nah, that'd be
I'm
fucking
a
killer
I'm
to
a big fan of Halloween, so
yeah, I would
That's
we're
crazy.
coming up to see y'all August 2nd in the Fort Worth Stockyards, you and Parker.
Yeah,
We'll
excited.
come up for that show. We've got a busy ass August, but
nice.
be there and looking forward to that one.
That'll be a good one.
Dude, if y'all have never caught Carson, Carson is absolutely burning up the Texas, Oklahoma,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
surrounding area scene. These guys are fucking killer. And Rob will always give you a good talk if he's got time. Rob is not a scary man. I mean, if he shaves his head bald again, maybe he'd be the one that you might be like, what the hell? Nah, but Rob's a great fucking dude. And yeah, he's got
Hey,
a great hairline.
I'll tell you, you come to my show, it's not gonna be bald because you're gonna see that, you
Dude,
know.
yeah, he's Eli Jordan like headbanging right now. So, but yes, these guys are fucking phenomenal, and can't wait to see where they go. And then this new album. So, is the new album this year? Do you know? Can you say that for sure?
Yeah, I think the plan is to have it out before the fall. So ideally, maybe even around August. We'll see.
Might be in the album of the year.
Be nice.
Hell yeah, we'll definitely include you for sure.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
thank y'all so much for
Thank you.
listening to the Buzz with Katie and Kyler today. So thankful to have Mr. Rob on today. Rob's, like I said, mwah, mwah. And so thank y'all so much for listening. We'll see y'all next week,
Yes.
and see y'all then. Ah, bye.